When life feels heavy and the silence around you grows louder than the world outside, pause. Take a slow, gentle breath. You don't need to fix anything right now. You only need to listen. This moment is not asking you to be strong or to have the answers. It's asking you to be here exactly as you are. Beneath the noise, beneath the exhaustion, there is a quiet voice within you, patient, waiting, still. This voice doesn't demand. It simply whispers, "Come home." This isn't just another video filled with advice and solutions. It's an invitation, a soft space where your emotions are welcome and your heart can finally rest. Together, we'll explore what it truly means to heal from within, not through distraction, not through pretending to be okay, but through understanding, awareness, and compassion. Because the truth is, the healing you've been searching for has never been missing. It's only been waiting for your attention. In this video, you'll learn 10 timeless Buddhist lessons that can help you rebuild from the inside out. You'll discover how to trust change instead of fearing it, how to turn pain into a teacher, and how to find stillness in the middle of life's noise. You'll learn to love yourself without conditions, to forgive what you've carried too long, and to treat each morning as a new beginning. Most of all, you'll learn that peace doesn't arrive from the outside. It blooms quietly from within, the moment you begin to listen. Lesson 1. Impermanence. Trust in the flow of change. When pain seems endless, when nights stretch longer than they should, and you begin to wonder if peace will ever return, pause. You're not trapped. You're simply standing in the middle of a moment that's still unfolding. Every breath you take, every heartbeat, every sunrise that replaces the dark reminds you of one profound truth. Nothing stays the same. The Buddha called this the law of impermanence, the simple yet powerful truth that everything in existence is constantly moving, shifting, evolving. Look around you. The trees shed their leaves, only to bloom again. The tides rise, then fall back into stillness. Even the stars that seem eternal are slowly changing, burning, transforming into light we'll never see. So why do we expect our own emotions, our own suffering, to remain forever? When life hurts, it's easy to believe the pain will last forever. But pain is like a wave. It rises, it swells, and then it passes. It may crash hard, but it never stays. The same river that carries your sorrow also carries it away. The same time that brings you to your knees will, in its own quiet way, help you stand again. Nothing in nature clings to what it was yesterday, and you too are part of that same rhythm. Think back to moments in your past that once felt unbearable. You thought you'd never survive them, and yet here you are, breathing, learning, growing. What once felt permanent is now a memory. That's the miracle of impermanence. The reminder that no matter how heavy today feels, tomorrow will bring a different light. The dawn always follows the night, not because we force it, but because life is designed to move. So when the weight of the world presses on your chest, try this simple practice. Close your eyes, take a slow breath in, and imagine your emotion as a wave. See it rise within you, crest, and then slowly fall away. You don't have to fight it or hold it back. Just let it move through you. Trust that this feeling too will pass, because all things, joy, sorrow, confusion, clarity, are travelers, not residents. Impermanence isn't something to fear, it's something to trust. It's the promise that every ending carries the seed of a beginning, that every loss creates space for renewal. The seasons don't resist change, and neither should you. When you surrender to the rhythm of life, you stop clinging. And in that release, you find peace. So, let the river of time flow. Don't stand still, trying to hold it. Step into it. Breathe with it. Move with it. Because life is not meant to be frozen. It's meant to be felt, lived, and continually renewed. And somewhere beyond the tide of this moment, peace is already waiting for you. Lesson 2. Embrace the darkness within. Find peace in the present. We all carry moments we'd rather forget. Memories that ache when touched. Regrets that echo when the world grows quiet. And so, we run. We fill our days with noise, movement, and distraction, hoping that if we stay busy enough, the silence inside us won't catch up. But pain does not disappear simply because we refuse to look at it. It waits, patiently, not to punish us, but to be seen. True healing doesn't begin when the hurt is gone. It begins the moment you stop running from it. The Buddha taught that avoidance only deepens suffering, while awareness dissolves it. So instead of asking, "How do I escape this?" ask, "What is this trying to show me?" Your pain is not an enemy. It's a messenger. It carries lessons your heart has not yet learned to read. Imagine standing in a dimly lit room. At first, you see only the shadow, the darkness, the fear. But as your eyes adjust, shapes begin to form. You start to recognize what's always been there, the hidden corners of your own heart. That's what happens when you stop turning away from your pain. You begin to see that even the dark carries light. That your wounds are not signs of weakness, but doorways to understanding. There's a quiet strength that comes from sitting with what hurts. Not fixing it, not labeling it, just being with it. When you whisper to your pain, "I see you. I'm here," something softens. The wall between resistance and peace begins to fall. In that stillness, you realize that you can hold your sadness without drowning in it. You can feel deeply and still remain whole. Try this simple practice. When discomfort rises, don't push it away. Sit in silence and place your hand over your heart. Breathe. Say gently, "I welcome this part of me. What is this teaching me?" You might be surprised by what you hear. Not from the world, but from within. Pain is not a punishment. It's a mirror, reflecting the places within you still longing for compassion. When you learn to stand in your own shadow without fear, you'll discover that darkness was never the opposite of light. It was the womb of transformation all along. Lesson 3. The power of self-love, becoming whole again. There comes a time in everyone's life when we realize we've been waiting for someone to see us, to understand us, to make us feel whole. We give and give, hoping that love will return through another's eyes. But sooner or later, we learn that the deepest kind of healing does not arrive from outside. It begins quietly, in the sanctuary of our own heart. The most powerful act of love you will ever experience is the one you offer yourself. The Buddha taught that you, yourself, as much as anyone in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Yet somehow, we treat ourselves as exceptions to that truth. We speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to someone we care about. We measure our worth through approval, success, and comparison, forgetting that our very existence is already worthy of kindness. Imagine your heart as a garden. Each thought you plant becomes a seed. When you water yourself with patience and care, flowers of peace and confidence begin to bloom. But when you neglect that soil, when you speak harshly to yourself, weeds of doubt and shame take over. No garden thrives on neglect, and no soul blossoms through self-criticism. To love yourself is to return to your own garden, to pull out what no longer serves, and to nurture what quietly longs to grow. Every time you forgive yourself for not being perfect, you are planting a seed of peace. Every time you choose to rest instead of run, you are tending to your roots. And every time you remind yourself, "I am enough," you are helping your inner world breathe again. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not worshipping the self. You are honoring the sacred life that moves through you. Try this simple practice. Place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and whisper, "I am enough. I am whole. Feel how those words land inside you, not as a demand, but as a remembrance. The love you've been searching for has never been missing. It's simply been waiting for your attention. Because when you finally stand beside yourself with compassion, you stop chasing validation. You stop begging the world for what you can give yourself. And in that moment, you begin to heal. Not by becoming someone new, but by remembering who you already are. Lesson 4. The silence that heals. Finding peace in stillness. We live in a world that never stops moving. The noise never truly fades. Messages, screens, thoughts, and worries all competing for our attention. Even when the world grows quiet, our minds often don't. They keep spinning, repeating, chasing, fearing. And yet, somewhere beneath that constant motion lies a quiet truth. Healing doesn't come from doing more. It comes from being still. The Buddha taught that a disciplined mind brings happiness, and that discipline begins in silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is presence. It's the space where all the voices in your mind finally have room to rest. At first, silence can feel uncomfortable, almost too loud. When you stop filling every moment with sound, the things you've avoided begin to surface: memories, emotions, regrets. But this is not a punishment. It's an invitation. What rises in stillness is what's ready to be healed. Imagine your mind as a lake on a windy day. The surface ripples wildly, distorting every reflection. But when the wind fades, the water slowly calms, and you can finally see through it, clear, deep, and beautiful. That's what silence does. It stills the storm within you so you can see what's really there. Not chaos, not confusion, but peace that has always existed underneath. In silence, you begin to hear life again. The rhythm of your breath, the gentle beating of your heart, the quiet pulse of your being. You realize you've never been separate from peace. You've only been distracted from it. True clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking less. Try this. Close your eyes and sit in silence for a few moments. Let your thoughts appear like clouds drifting across the sky. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Simply watch them pass. With every breath, the sky of your mind becomes a little clearer. In that space, you'll find something precious: yourself. Silence isn't an escape from the world. It's a return to your center. And in that sacred stillness, the mind softens, the heart steadies, and you remember what peace feels like. Because healing doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply whispers. Lesson 5. The gift of the present moment. We spend most of our lives anywhere but here. Our minds wander endlessly, replaying what went wrong yesterday, rehearsing what could go wrong tomorrow. We chase peace through memories and worries, but never pause long enough to notice. Peace is already here, waiting in this very breath. Healing doesn't live in the past you can't change, or in the future you can't control. It lives quietly in this moment, right now. The Buddha taught that the present moment is the only place where life truly exists. Everything else, the past and the future, are stories the mind tells. Yet we often live like ghosts, walking through today while haunted by yesterday's shadows or tomorrow's fears. But when you return to the now, when you anchor yourself in this single breath, you step back into life itself. Imagine a spinning wheel. At its edge, everything moves fast, the blur of events, emotions, and thoughts. But at the very center, there is a still point, silent, steady, untouched. That still point is the present moment. The more you move toward it, the calmer life becomes. The storms keep spinning, but you're no longer lost in them. You've found your center, the quiet space where clarity, calm, and healing begin. Every time you pause to breathe with awareness, you open a small door to peace. Try it now. Inhale slowly, and as you exhale, feel yourself arriving, not in the past, not in the future, but here. Notice how your mind softens when it stops wandering. Notice how your heart feels when it's not chasing anything. This breath, this heartbeat, this awareness is the gift you've been overlooking. The present moment asks for nothing but your attention. It doesn't demand that you fix the past or plan the future. It simply invites you to live fully, gently, completely. Because when you stop running from now, you discover that now is enough. So, whenever you feel lost in thought or tangled in worry, return to the still point inside you. Breathe. Remember, life isn't waiting somewhere ahead. It's happening here, in this breath, in this second, in the quiet gift of the present moment. Lesson 6. Identify the roots of your pain. Every emotion has a story, and every pain has a beginning. When we feel hurt, we often look for quick relief. We distract ourselves, blame the present, or try to silence the ache. But pain doesn't disappear when ignored. It burrows deeper. It becomes a quiet undercurrent, shaping our reactions, our choices, and the way we see ourselves. Healing truly begins when you stop treating the surface and begin to listen beneath it, when you trace your pain back to its roots. The Buddha taught that all suffering arises from causes and conditions. If you can understand the cause, the suffering begins to loosen its hold. Think of your pain like a great tree. The leaves may wither, the branches may bend, but the true reason lies underground, in the roots. You can't heal the tree by cutting the leaves. You must go to the soil, where the hurt first began. Maybe the pain you feel today isn't really about today. Maybe it began with a word spoken years ago, a betrayal that quietly shaped your trust, or a moment when you decided you weren't enough. These roots often hide deep within us, unseen but alive, feeding our sadness, anger, or fear. The present moment only stirs what has long been waiting to be healed. So the next time you feel triggered, don't ask, "Why is this happening again?" Ask, "What is this really about?" Sit with the feeling in stillness. Let it speak. It might show you an old version of yourself that still needs understanding. It might remind you of a wound you've carried too long. And when you finally listen, without judgment, without rushing, you'll notice something incredible. Awareness begins to dissolve the pain. Try this simple practice. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let your awareness move inward. Find the emotion that feels heavy, maybe anger, fear, or sadness. Instead of pushing it away, whisper to it, "What are you teaching me?" Then listen, not with your mind, but with your heart. Healing isn't about fixing yourself, it's about understanding yourself. Because when you see the root of your pain clearly, you stop fighting the leaves and start nourishing the soil. And from that place of truth, something beautiful begins to grow. Peace that no longer depends on anything outside of you. Lesson 7. Stop comparing. Honor your own path. There's a quiet thief that robs us of our peace far more often than failure ever could: comparison. It doesn't come loudly or suddenly. It seeps in gently, disguised as observation, curiosity, even motivation. You scroll through your phone, see someone traveling the world, another finding love, someone else achieving the dream you once whispered to yourself. And before you realize it, a small voice inside begins to whisper, "Why not me?" That whisper seems harmless, but if left unchecked, it becomes a wound. It makes you measure your life against a version that isn't yours. It convinces you that happiness belongs to everyone else but you. Yet beneath that ache lies a misunderstanding. The belief that life unfolds the same way for everyone. But it doesn't. The truth is simpler and kinder. Each soul walks its own path, at its own rhythm. The Buddha taught that suffering often arises when we compare, when we grasp at what others have and overlook the peace within our own being. When you look too long at another person's path, you begin to forget how sacred your own is. You stop noticing your small victories, your moments of quiet growth, the resilience that got you here. Think of the sky. The sun and the moon never compete. They share the same space, yet each shines when it is their time. The sun does not rush the night away, and the moon does not hurry the dawn. They honor the rhythm of the universe. And in doing so, both fulfill their purpose beautifully. The same is true for you. Your timing is not delayed, it is divine. Every soul carries its own lessons, and life reveals them when you're ready to receive them. Not a moment before, not a moment after. What looks like delay might be protection. What feels like a detour might be preparation. You cannot compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. They are not ahead of you. They are simply walking a different road. When you compare, you abandon yourself. You stop walking your own path and start chasing shadows. You forget that the destination of this journey is not to be better than, but to be truer. Truer to your own essence, your own calling, your own heart. Take a moment to reflect on this. Every single experience you've lived, every joy, heartbreak, mistake, and moment of grace has shaped a wisdom that belongs to you alone. Nobody else has walked your exact path, carried your exact weight, or learned your exact lessons. So why measure yourself with someone else's ruler? Comparison will always show you what you lack. Gratitude, on the other hand, will show you what you already have. When you shift your gaze from others back to yourself, something incredible happens. You begin to see progress where you once saw imperfection, and growth where you once saw failure. Here's a small practice for your heart. Sit in silence for a few moments. Breathe deeply. Let your thoughts settle like sand in clear water. Then place your hand gently over your heart and repeat softly, "I honor my path, and I trust in my timing." Feel how those words land. You are not behind. You are becoming, unfolding, evolving, exactly as you were meant to. Your life is not meant to mirror another's highlight reel. Some flowers bloom in spring, others in autumn. And yet each season is complete. Your time will come, not through striving or comparing, but through trust. Trust in the rhythm of your own becoming. The next time you feel envy rising, pause and remember the sun and the moon. Both serve the same sky, both illuminate the world, but neither tries to be the other. You too have your own light, and the world needs it, not a copy of someone else's. So release the weight of comparison. Walk gently with yourself. Celebrate your small steps, your silent victories, your unseen progress. Because peace doesn't arrive when you win the race. It arrives the moment you stop running someone else's. Your journey is not late. It's not lacking. It's yours. Beautiful, imperfect, and unfolding at the exact pace life intended. Lesson 8. Forgive yourself and release the past. There is a kind of weight that no one else can see. The one you carry inside. It's made of guilt, regret, and the things you wish you could go back and change. You smile on the outside, but somewhere within, that weight keeps you from moving freely. You replay the same scenes in your mind, hoping they'll end differently, but they never do, because the past can't be rewritten, only released. Forgiveness is not about saying, "It didn't matter." It's about saying, "It no longer controls me." The Buddha taught that holding on to anger or regret is like grasping a burning coal with the intention of throwing it. You are the one who gets burned first. Every resentment, every guilt, every unhealed memory is a coal in your palm, and forgiveness is simply the act of opening your hand. We often think forgiveness is something we give to others, but true healing begins when you offer it to yourself. You cannot release the pain of others if you are still punishing yourself for your own mistakes. Look gently at your past, not as a courtroom, but as a classroom. Each choice, each misstep, each heartbreak was teaching you something about love, about awareness, about who you are. You were doing your best with what you knew at the time. The lesson has been learned. The sentence can end. Imagine yourself walking along a quiet path, carrying a heavy stone close to your chest. You've carried it so long, you almost forget it's there. Then one day, you stop. You breathe. And with trembling hands, you set it down. The moment the weight leaves you, your shoulders lift, Your heart expands, and you realize how light freedom feels. That stone was never your identity. It was just something you were meant to put down. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It simply changes your relationship with it. You stop fighting it, stop feeding it, and begin to let life flow again. The wounds that once defined you become scars of wisdom, reminders not of pain, but of how deeply you've healed. Try this small practice. Take a piece of paper and write down one regret, one memory that still feels heavy. Look at it, breathe, and say softly, "I release you. You no longer define me." Then tear it into pieces, not with anger, but with peace. As you do, imagine the fragments being carried away by the wind. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength in its purest form. It's the courage to walk forward without dragging yesterday behind you. When you forgive, you are not letting someone else off the hook. You are setting yourself free. So, release the stone. Let the river of time carry away what no longer belongs to you. In that letting go, you'll find something far more powerful than revenge or regret. Peace. You've walked through many truths in this quiet journey, each one a small light guiding you home. You've learned that nothing lasts forever, that even the darkest emotions eventually soften and pass. You've discovered the courage to face your own pain, not with fear, but with compassion. You've remembered that healing doesn't come from others, but from the love you learn to offer yourself. You've sat in silence and found that peace was never missing. It was simply waiting beneath the noise. You've learned to return to the present, to find stillness in each breath, and to trust the rhythm of your own becoming. You've traced your pain to its roots, stopped comparing your story to another's, and opened your hands to forgiveness, freeing yourself from what no longer serves you. Each truth has brought you one step closer to the center of your own heart. Healing is not a race, nor a destination. It's a gentle unfolding, one breath, one moment, one act of awareness at a time. Some days you will feel light, other days you'll feel heavy. But even in those moments, remember, you are still growing, still softening, still awakening. Nothing is wasted on the path that leads you home to yourself. Before this moment ends, take a slow breath and whisper quietly, "I am healing. I am enough. I am already becoming whole." And as you step back into your life, carry these truths with gentle eyes. May you walk slowly, speak kindly, and love yourself through every season of change. Because when you learn to trust your own journey, peace no longer feels distant. It begins to walk beside you.